Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for this week's episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. Today we will be talking to people who have our black men who have not only experienced depression but also have overcome. And we also have Antoine Ely here, who is a counselor, and we'll be talking about help for men that are struggling with depression. So today's letter is written to our men, and that letter is: Dear warriors, I know you struggle with your feelings. I know you feel like you have to be strong all the time. I know. Don't worry. You're safe here. You don't have to hide. We won't sit back and allow you to suffer any longer. We see your strength. You are not a statistic anymore. You are safe, strong, and your heart is safe here. You're worthy of help and healing. Before we get started, I would like to read some statistics about our community. In 2020, suicide was the third leading cause of death for African Americans ages 15 through 24, and these were the boys. Adult African Americans are 20% more likely to report serious psychological distress. Among men ages 18 through 44 who have had daily feelings of anxiety and depression, African American teenagers are more likely to attempt suicide. African American men ages 20 to 24 have the highest suicide rate um, other than other races, and that includes black males and females. But the startling statistic is they're less likely to get mental health. Those statistics came from nimhd.nih.gov. Um, so today I want to start off with Courtney Rice and his struggle that he experienced with depression. These are the questions. So Courtney, today, tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me, how did you start your battle with, or what started the battle with depression?
Um, I'm 42 years old, father of 11. I got three grandkids, eight daughters, three sons. I think depression, I think it hit with me probably like in my teenage years. Um, I just like felt left out, unwanted, and I just kind of knew something was going on. When I was younger, I used to take medicine for it, and I kind of grew out of like the taking pills and didn't really feel like the medicine was working. I tried counseling and therapy, and it just really wasn't for me. But I knew, like, it was something there. Like, I didn't need the doctor to tell me, like, you're depressed. But then eventually, as an adult, I went to the doctor and they said, like, you might be depressed. I was just always like feeling down and out, you know.
And what steps did you take or are you taking to overcome that depression?
Um, like I said, when I was younger, I was kind of like in denial. Like, I ain't depressed, leave me alone. I kind of fought it for so long. And even as an adult, I kind of fought it. I kind of fought it for a long time, and just like recently, and I want to say like 10 years ago, I just acknowledged it and just said like, I gotta get some help. So I did try therapy again, and unfortunately, I just felt like it wasn't for me. So I just kind of I've been winging it. I am on medication now, but I feel like it helps, but I think it helps me more to just like share my story and just
Mhm.
take it one day at a time. I just try to stay as positive as I can. So,
And what
you
would you
know,
tell any other person, dad, father, brother, or even husbands
I'm gonna
that are
set someone
battling
right up.
depression? What would your advice be to them?
Uh, don't give up. Don't give up. No matter what you're going through, don't give up. We always think that it's hard and uh, sorry, man.
Hmm.
Operations, how can I help you?
Okay, we could come back to you and you could go mute.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna send someone right up. And I'm back.
Okay.
So I mean, I just tell people never to give up. You know, I taught the younger gentleman. I got younger sons. I just try to tell them, you know, my story and my struggle. You know, I just tell them never give up. You know, it's always help out there. Whether if you want to talk to somebody, a big brother or uncle, and sometimes there are people not available. You know what I'm saying? They can always, you know, reach out to, you know, different people. You know.
Okay. And my last question is, I know that you said don't give up. So is that your encouraging word that you're giving for the week to help other people that may be watching this today?
Yeah, I tell myself that every day. So I will definitely, you know, tell people no matter what you're going through, battling, always just try to stay strong. You know, even if you know you feel like you can't and it's too much to bear, just never give up. Never give up.
Thank you.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest for me tonight.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
really appreciate it. I know you have to go, but just
Oh, no,
thank
it's
you.
cool. Oh, thank you. I'm
All
gonna tune in. I appreciate it. Thank you.
right. You're welcome.
Bye. Yeah.
All right. So I know that people get depression for different reasons. So that is why I have multiple guests on today. So James, I'm going to start with you with those same questions. We already kind of know a little bit about you, but how and when did you start your battle with depression?
You know, you know what? I still don't really know when it started. I mean, I would say like some years ago. Because after actually going to counseling, I could realize at that point that it really had been going on for some time. So I probably would say, um, maybe in my 20s, like maybe around in my mid 20s. I don't think I was like depressed or anything like when I was younger and in high school. So I think probably like mid 20s, maybe early 30s, somewhere around in there. And a lot of times we don't deal with it, and we're in denial, and people tell you ain't nothing wrong with you, so you just kind of think ain't nothing wrong. But once you go and get help and you start to recognize the signs, then you realize kind of what it is.
Right. And what I know you just talked about counseling, but are there any other steps that you took to overcome your depression?
um I think that was the biggest thing. um
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing, is just being able to talk to somebody and to have like a neutral person who they don't know you from a can of paint. So it's like they not, they can't really judge you, or they're not judging you because they don't know you. So and you feel a little safer talking to somebody who doesn't really know you, and you don't feel like you're being judged and that sort of thing. So I think that was really like the biggest thing. And then you just kind of, doing a lot of the self work, and just trying to get your life together and get things, certain things together and in place. But I think the biggest thing really was getting counseling, getting help.
Okay. And then what would you tell another dad, father, brother, or husband battling depression? What would your advice be?
I think just like to I think be open to your feelings, and the fact that you do have feelings, and you do hurt, and you go through things and have pain and struggles and that sort of thing. There's this idea that you can't show, as a man, or you can't show pain and show that you're struggling and going through things or whatever. And a lot of times we try to cover stuff up, and that's what makes it worse. A lot of times is the fact that you're hiding and covering things up and making it seem like it's one thing and it's really something else. And I think just being open and honest with yourself, as to the struggles and the pains that you're having, and being open to getting help. It's so taboo in our community to get help and go to counseling and therapy and that sort of thing. But it's really a good thing. Like, for whatever reason, I like counseling. So I keep saying that I'm gonna, because I haven't been. It's been a few years. And my situation, because people will ask like, well, why did you stop going? It really was an insurance thing, because your insurance pays for it. And with me working for myself for a while, I wasn't insured. So it was just like, it can get expensive, when you're paying for that stuff out of pocket and whatnot. So now that I actually have the insurance, I actually have considered or am considering going back to talking to somebody. Even when you're feeling good, you still need to talk to somebody and be able to kind of get stuff off your chest and off your shoulders. And it's really a cool thing. Like I think it's really cool. So like even, with appointments that you go to and whatnot, like I think it's dope
Right.
because when you don't go and you're not talking to somebody, like there's always that potential, with you keeping stuff bottled up and keeping stuff inside, and it boils and it boils and it boils, and the longer you don't deal with stuff and talk about it, like the worse it gets, and then it's hard to kind of clean that stuff up because you've been letting it sit and linger for so long. So like it really, to me, it really is good to get into counseling and therapy and talking to people.
Right, and I just want to piggyback off of what you said just before I go to my next question for you. I do see, like when you say even when things are happy, because a lot of times I know for myself personally, I've had a lot of ups and downs with things in my life. So when I have good situations, it kind of scare me. So like I had an event a few weeks ago, for something that I accomplished. I ended up getting my chemical dependency licensing, and it scared me to actually be celebrated.
Yeah.
And in our communities, we're taught to just keep going no matter what happened, or if you do speak about good things, you're bragging. So even though that was a good event, it still scared me to actually celebrate something. So that's why, like when you said that when things are good, to even still go talk about it, I firmly agree with that.
Yeah, and it's important. It's important to celebrate your wins and the good stuff that's going on. And anybody, a lot of it is about cleaning your circle. The circle of people in your life, and that I have talked to you about this. Like it's really important to clean up the circle of people in your life because everybody, regardless of how they look and what they say and what they seem like, a lot of people are not for you.
Right.
And I'm not speaking about you specifically. I'm just saying, just in general, like a lot of people really are not for you, and they don't necessarily want to see your success. Or when things are going really good for you, you'll notice that some people they kind of back away, and you don't hear from them, and they don't respond, and they. But then when things are bad, they right there. And I mean, in a sense, you want somebody to be there when things are bad, but you also want somebody to be there when things are good to celebrate you and to say, like, that's dope, good job. Like, that's really dope. You know, you need somebody there to celebrate you and the things that you're doing so that not only from yourself that you're doing good and you're doing a good job. And it's only gonna, encourage you to do more, if people are celebrating you. And I say that the people who feel like you bragging and that sort of thing, like those are the people who don't need to be in your life. Like
Right.
those are the people that you got. And it sucks sometimes because it be the very people that you love the most. But sometimes you gotta let you can't take everybody with you. And we want to take the people that we love with us when we're doing good and we're successful and that sort of thing. But you just, they say all the time, everybody can't go with you. You got to leave some people behind, and some people are, a lot of people are just miserable. So they want you to be miserable too, or they want everybody else to be miserable too. They don't want to feel like everybody else is shining and they're not.
Right.
So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. But yeah, cleaning up the circle of people in your life is really a big thing too. So I think that's a lot of what I did too in terms of dealing with the depression and that sort of thing is just eliminating. I mean, just flat out eliminating some people, and it sucks. It sucks, and you feel bad for a minute, but you start to see, things going better for you when you eliminate certain people from your life.
Right. And so, how do we get these statistics down? The statistics I just read are kind of alarming for our community. So, in your opinion, what do you think we can start doing to get these statistics down?
Um, I think having these conversations, I think that's a big thing. Like, even and I said when you started this podcast or when you talked about starting this podcast, like it's really is really a good thing because people need it. We need to have these conversations, like these open conversations and dialogue, to be able to talk about this kind of stuff and to know that I'm not crazy or you're not crazy for how you feel. And it's okay, for you to feel how you feel. And um, like these conversations are really good. They're necessary. So I think that's a big piece of it. Um, I don't really necessarily know what else right off the bat, but I think the first thing is to really just start having these conversations and open dialogue.
Okay. And then what would your encouraging word be for this week to somebody that may be battling depression?
Um, I think I think I would tell them, first and foremost, like it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to feel how you feel. It's really good. I think I would try to encourage them to talk about it a little bit more, but you have to make people feel and understand that they're in a safe space before, they're really willing to talk, open up, wholeheartedly and really talk about certain stuff. So I think, just, trying your best to be there for people and to listen to them when they have issues. And you and I go back and forth on the phone all the time about different stuff that's going on and whatnot. And it's really a lot about just listening. Like, we both will express our opinion and what we think and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, we're listening to each other
Right.
and, just kind of leaving it be and listening and just, not always offering a solution, but just kind of being there to listen because a lot of times people just want to vent. Like they don't really, a lot of times people don't really have the expectation that you're going to fix the problem. They just want somebody to listen and nobody is listening to them.
Right.
So a lot of it is, just listening and being that open ear. And I think the more that you do that, the more comfortable people are and the more that they feel that it's a safe space and then they'll open up more to you. And you'll find that you're able to help. Um, and, once they see that they really have that support, I think that that helps in terms of, the depression. Numbers.
All right, thank you. And so, um, then I want to turn the floor over to Antoine Ely, but I want to give some information about him first. So he's worked 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. He's now at Ginn Academy as a linkage coordinator. Also, he graduated from Glenville High School, class of '94. So I just want to tell people that regardless of where you come from or where you graduate, we hold our own futures in our hands. So I turn the floor over to him, and I would like to thank him for coming and being a part of this today. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what it is that you do?
Yes, how you doing? I appreciate you for having me on. I've been working with kids and coaching and things like that as well for like 20 years in the community. And anytime you're dealing with somebody like Coach Ginn, you learn a lot of things about just dealing with people and, trying to get us all functioning better. I think people get mental health confused. He touched on a lot of good points. Mental health, when you bring it up to people, it does not mean you are crazy. That's one of the biggest misconceptions of it. And our people we're not educated on in areas that we need to be more educated on because we just fall up under stigmatisms like that, and it doesn't mean you're crazy. It's like anything else that you practice. So I try to mostly get with guys when they're younger and give them habits to practice, so as they get older it becomes habit to think a little more clear, not blow up or not add more on to your plate already. So it's definitely some learning to do along the way with those type of things. He touched on a lot of points about just who you're dealing with, your circle. Are you being honest with what's really got you down? A lot of times people think about mental health where, like he said, it's you picture going to sitting in an office with somebody and spilling your guts. I deal with young men, we might bowl, fish. I try to do anything they haven't done before, show them something different. And small things like that help you break through and they see different things about their self.
Mm.
So those are just some of the things that you do, and I try to catch them young and tell parents, hey, let's treat it like anything else: basketball, football, any sport, anything that you like, your favorite subject. You practice it to get better at it. So we have to get our young men, like you said, it was from age, I think you said 15 to 24.
Yes.
So if at 15 he's experiencing it, it's probably because of what he started going through maybe at 9. So
Mm.
you want to get them early enough to make them understand and explain what they're really feeling, what somebody's really going through, so you can teach them coping mechanisms for one, how to deal with. And some people need it longer than others. Like I said, I've had young men, I've worked in the juvenile system as well. So between juvenile, school, coaching, I've seen a plethora of young men with full potential to do and be anything. But again, the environment we're in and things like that, all of that plays a part. Poverty, everything that people ignore, plays a part in feelings, which leads to anxiety and depression. And some people may just have it from being in car accidents. Like, everybody is different. Some people nervous about riding in a car because
Mhm.
they've been in 2 or 3 accidents that just have shaken their life up. That does nearly mean they're crazy. This is just what they have and anxiety about. So getting people to admit it, and like you said, so many different levels of it, depression and anxiety and things like that. And like you said, before it ever get to the husbands and fathers, we want to catch it when they teenagers and young men on the Pee Wee football team. You want to get them there just to train thoughts, like anything else you do, that you do training in, you get better at it. Some kids just you train them to think a little different, and in a year or so they just doing much better because they're thinking different.
Right.
You know.
Okay, thank you. And so I know that you normally try to help them when they're younger, but when they do get older, we know it's hard, especially in the black community, to get men to go to the doctor. So how, if they don't go to the doctor, how do we nudge them into going to therapy if they know that it's needed, or if they just need a little extra help?
Again, as knowledge, we have to explain to them that therapy can help your life in the long run. You have to give them a different vision. Sometimes I may ask a kid, well, where you see yourself going, or what you see yourself doing? They can't even give you an answer. So you want to help build up to certain things. And then you, like I said, you crack through the shell and you be, hey, when the last time you been to the doctor? What do you know this about yourself? What do you really know? And you may have to go with them. As right now, the way times are, we have to be really diligent. If this what you do and you want to really help people, you're gonna have to really, it's a dirty job right now. It ain't like back in the day you just can sit somewhere and let's just talk and take notes. No, you got to really get on with people these days and really, if they really want to help themselves, you got to get out there and help them. And you'd be surprised, some people just need that extra nudge or push. Like you said, that extra nudge or push is you actually going,
Right.
or you actually helping them set the appointment up. Some people don't even know how to do that. We take all that for granted. Some people don't call places because they don't even know how to set up an appointment. Or young men don't know their social, or just don't know. Like he said, you don't even know what medical you have. What is it under? Somebody asks you something, you embarrassed, you hang up. So it's plenty of obstacles that you run into. So the whole thing is teaching. We have to teach young men
Right.
from everything that you think they know, they really don't. You have to teach them about the importance of health, just like you have to teach them the importance of math and reading and science and social studies. They have to learn the core values of life. That's something, I can't own that one because that's something that Coach Ginn has always said. The core values that the kids need to learn, and young men of my age, just men in general. We have to keep seeking knowledge, and we have to keep teaching our younger ones what it is and why they need to do these things. because that's what people want to know. Well, why I need that? Well, this is why. You better
Right.
have a strong why,
Yeah,
because they're gonna want to know.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's awesome that you're catching them like you're catching them at a younger age, because the reality is, and a lot of people will chalk it up to bad parenting, but a lot of times it's really not bad parenting. Like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times the parents just like they're working and they're busy and they're trying to maintain a household, and they got so
Exactly.
many things
And
on their
that's what I
plate.
said. It's a teaching, because you have to teach our people mental health does not mean crazy. That I always start with
Yeah,
that. It's any trauma you have been through. You may have lost somebody. It's just been hard to get over losing your best
yeah,
friend. You might have seen a car accident, two strangers. You might have seen somebody get hit by a car and killed. That is a trauma that you have to talk about to
yeah,
get past. That's why I say it has nothing to do with being crazy or mentally messed up in any kind of way. Some cases are different, but some things are just some kids in the juvenile system too early. So they don't even understand or know that they can still bounce back from that. They don't know that it's a program that I can get you in, that can get you a job, and you never have to look back at your past again. You can move forward, but they don't know that. So it's all tied into us educating, um, and that men, women, or whatever, it's educating our kind young, getting them and treating it like anything else. They get into it 9, 10 years old, they become a professional at it. Anything you practice, you get very good at. So if you start teaching them how to practice better behavior, how to talk more, even talking more positive, speaking things in a different type of way, talking about your life situation in a different kind of way can help you. They be surprised when I have them just saying things different helps them grow, and you can see the growth. And then some people who leave, who I don't even have as a client anymore, may call back and just say thank you and use some of the things they learned while they were there, and has moved on, and be like, man, that really does work. And they want to learn more before they run into things. They rather know ahead of time now than to just face it when they know now. If I just know more about it, I'll know how to handle a problem or a situation that comes up.
Right. And my question to you also is, what would your encouraging word be for someone that may be battling depression right now themselves?
Love yourself. You got to start there. You have to learn how to love yourself. Meaning, loving yourself is respecting yourself. So if you start there, just watching what you say, what you do, how you do things, love yourself, and then it'll be, it's easier said than done, but that would be my encouraging word. Love yourself first, and then I think you can move forward from there, step by step.
That is a great advice to people, because where I am in my life is funny. I always tell James I'm in my 30s, and I'm learning how to love myself in my 30s more than I did in my teen years, more than I did in my 20s.
Yeah.
So, in learning to love myself, I'm helping reach out to other people to try to get them to at least start that process of healing themselves. And do you take adult clients? And if we do have any viewers here that their children may need, or their sons may need somebody to reach out to, how could they reach you?
Well, actually, if they want to send out I put my email out and I'll go from there. My email, I actually work for the Table Core Services, where if you could, they can have a male, a female. We have different people if they want somebody older, younger to talk to, who could be their mental health specialist. My email is aeley2202 at gmail.com. That's again, it's aeley2202 at gmail.com. And I'm a worker for the Table Core Services. And we can get to you and get something started right away. And I really believe that, like he said, it's really a good thing. You'd be surprised if you would get with someone, you can grow faster than even you know if you love yourself first and take the first step, which is reaching out for the help and then being honest about what you're really going through.
So thank you for that. And I also, if anybody does need that, they can also email me at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and I'll be able to forward the email to you as well. Um, if there's anybody on who have any questions or anything, we do have James, we do have Antoine here that can take any questions if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns. So while we're waiting for questions, I'll do my this week's Let's Go to Therapy segment. So as he already gave his email address, I also do have Belinda Williams again with Cleveland Health and Wellness Center. She's a African American therapist as well that can help. And her phone number is 216-538-6481. Again, if you do need that resource, you can also email us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and you can put in the comments, let's go to therapy. This week's spotlight, we're still highlighting the same spotlight as we had last week, which is our legendary track club, a nonprofit organization serving youth in Lorain County, teaching youth the importance of teamwork, goal setting, and educational excellence, giving youth between the ages of 6 to 18 opportunity to participate in track club. And the track club is sanctioned by the Amateur Athletic Union and USA Track and Field. Legendary Track Club is asking for donations and sponsorships. It goes 100% to registration fees, uniforms, training facilities, equipment, travel, and much more. Visit legendarytrackclub.com or 440-258-7229 for additional information. And also, I want to give our next spotlight again to see Yoni Pearl to love. That Yoni is to love thyself. See, Yoni is based out of Cleveland, Ohio, specializing in women's feminine health, women and teaching the women the art of yoni steaming with products of natural and organic. Her products are natural and organic. Contact today to discuss. You can also find her on Google and Instagram as See Yoni Pearls One. To find out how you can be on our spotlight segment, register your business today at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com. Next week's guest will be Marsha Williams, and she will detail her how she's surviving and overcoming her battle with anxiety. So next week's show, and I will also talk about my anxiety. I do suffer from severe anxiety as well as post-traumatic stress disorder. That will be a different show, but we will be detailing about anxiety next week. And is there any other questions or concerns for this week? Well, thank you so much, James. Thank you, Antoine, for being a part of the show this week. And please like, comment, and subscribe to our Open Letters to a Survivor, where we will detail and highlight mental health in the Black community each week. Thank you. Have a good night and a happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Bye bye.
Oh, that was cool.